road coming out on the Sand Canyon. And here's Soledad and Sand down here, right? Okay. And then you've got this housing tract here, and then you've got the apartments here. Okay, so we come up just to here. That's our property.
Just to the entrance of the apartment.
The end of the apartment, just past.
No, but before the gated community.
Just between the gated community and the second entrance into the apartment.
Silver
So,
Saddle.
two homes?
Yeah.
How far? Because that's where the guys were drilling. I talked to the guys that were drilling soil samples, the geologists. I talked to those guys 3 times.
Yeah.
Walked up the hill, talked to them down when they were doing the thing, and
Let me explain to you where that is. That's another project.
well, that's our. We're the first house, so that's
Oh,
our
I think
view.
I talked to you.
What's that?
Didn't I talk?
No, didn't talk to me.
You live right here, renting this house, right? One of these houses?
I'm house number 1 here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, here.
Sorry, sir. I talked to the guy that was right here.
So what are, how far is that going to come up, and is that going to, like anything, you bought the view, so to speak, and
Yeah.
so now we're going to see backyard.
We're probably 2 or 3 football fields down Sand Canyon from your entrance.
Okay. So where those guys were drilling up at the top, you're going to be building further down from the, just not much, maybe 50 yards past that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be glad to show you exactly.
Sure.
I could go out there sometime and just show you where the property line stops.
Okay.
Be happy to do that.
And it will not increase past that? You
No.
guys don't own the property past those
No,
mountains?
we own these 2 parcels right here. We stop right here.
And who owns the rest of those parcels? Do you have any idea?
I know that Jay Rogers owns this, and I assume this.
Jay Rogers owns that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he owns that. He owned this, and we bought that from him.
I had no idea. Oh, okay.
Yes.
What the price point's going to be for the homes you're going to build, the single-family homes? Do you know? And how big?
25 to about 3,800, and going to be probably in the 7s.
In the 7s.
Yes.
Elevation-wise, for the apartment buildings, how many stories are we talking about for the apartment buildings?
2 and 3.
Okay.
I'm going to hang around here so people can come get closer to it if you want to look a little bit closer. But I appreciate your time, and happy to, yes.
Yes, sir. I was wondering, due to all the additional people that are going to be living down there, I understand, obviously we only have our Ralphs, which Ralphs is already very big. I'm sorry, Vaughn's is already busy, and the parking lot is really, busy for us to go, any almost time of the day. Are you guys at all doing anything for us to have an actual grocery store? Are you guys putting any beautification, kind of projects for us also? Besides widening the road, but it doesn't help us up here for widening it. So I was just wondering, 2-part question. One, do you have any kind of grocery store coming in to help us go grocery shopping like we're grocery shopping right now? And then 2, are you guys, does the city having you guys do any beautification projects?
Well, in terms of, let's go to the beautification. So we're fully landscaping the property, okay? The Sand Canyon, completely landscaped. All the telephone lines and electric lines, all going underground. So Sand Canyon, with the center divide, is going to be a nice looking thoroughfare for our part, okay? And again, the city.
Just the east side, right? The side you're working?
Well, the other side has already got sidewalks and what have you, and they just have street lights. So they don't have any of those utilities. So all that's on our side. But we're the one. Our side's going to have the bike path, okay, and the walking trail, and that sort of thing. We're doing the same thing on Soledad, okay. And instead of looking at that cut on Soledad that you see that was done 1-to-1. When that Soledad got widened from 2 lanes to 4, that's when they cut, but they didn't lay it back, and they didn't landscape it. You couldn't landscape it 1-to-1, but so we're laying that hill back so that you're not going to look at that face. You're going to look at the landscape. Now, drought tolerant. One other thing we're planning to do on the water side of things, you know, we've got 138 units using water, and we have a certain amount of landscaping. We're going to be working with Vista Canyon and taking their reclaimed water for all of our landscaping.
Does that include filling the lake? How many
well, the lake's
acres
only,
is?
the lake's like this.
Okay.
It's going to look like
It's going to look deep?
It's going to look deep, but it's not.
Okay.
If you go in, you know, you're going to stand up.
Okay.
Okay, but it's going to look deep
Okay.
because it'll be, you know, kind of have a lake look to it.
All right.
You
And then
know,
the trails,
natural.
will the trails be coming into our community at all?
Well, we're going to bring them up, and
Okay.
there's basically some natural trails that they'll tie into.
Okay.
Yeah, and part of the Paseo projects and part of the center median projects, a lot of you guys have heard me talk about the median projects that they've been working on and the budgets involved with that. The goal is to carry that all the way through, have all the same type of aesthetic appeal and effect that they currently have with what they did with Soledad, as well as trying to carry some of the Paseos and stuff up to this community as well. It's going to affect the neighboring properties like Canyon Collection and a few other developments. If you guys go to, a great example is if you go to North Valencia area. Are you guys familiar with the Paseos through there? You know, long term, that's some of the goals for the city as well. So I hope that helps answer a little bit of that.
So we're basically doing, you know, our part of that.
And then the city steps in with your taxes, and
Yeah,
that's what
and
it's
the
used
fees
for.
people.
Yeah.
Yes. What was the other part of that question?
The grocery store.
Oh yeah, right. So now, I had a very long almost signed lease with Bonds, right, to come over. When I couldn't perform, Great Recession, Bonds is owned by Safeway. Safeway then stepped in and said, I'm buying this center. This is a good location. We're going to expand our store, fix this center up, okay, to handle the volume. Because they were only like 35,000 feet. They went to the 55,000. Today, there's no study that would tell you to build another grocery store like Vaughn's across the street. No grocery store would do it. There just isn't enough now and enough in the future in terms of growth to do it. And we've offered it, okay? Because that's what we were originally. So what we've done is we're now going to, as I pointed out, what's lacking is the restaurant side of things and some interesting shops. You know, could that be, well, I tried to get Trader Joe's forever, okay? Couldn't do it.
That'd be nice.
So it's really market driven. You know, we know it works. We know it's going to be successful. If there's a boutique, you know, smaller kind of food venue that appears and they want to go, we take them, okay?
Is there any truth? I've been following the informational meetings for Vista Canyon, which is right across the freeway, and from the beginning they've been in talks, or Trader Joe's has expressed apparently interest to have a store right across the freeway in Vista Canyon.
That would be great if they would. I mean, they turned us down numerous times. No gas station. Oh. I mean, in terms of what are they going to do? I've not heard of any of them. Matter of fact, you know, Arco's redoing it. Yeah, I know. So I think, you know, I agree with you. You got every gas station I think there is at this intersection.
Exactly.
We're not running out of gas, that's for sure. Yes.
Have you heard if there's going to be any upgrade to that shopping center
at the intersection on the right, the
Oh,
northwest
where
corner.
the liquor store is?
Yeah. Facelift, anything?
You know, I'm kind of hoping that with us and what Bonds did and that whole center, that all of a sudden they're going to be this odd guy out.
Right.
That really begs to be, I agree, a facelift.
Right.
And I think they would do them. And their parking's, they've really got a problem. I mean, that thing's, you guys, we all know it,
In and
right?
out and everything.
Everything and anything, that center's kind of wounded, but.
But you haven't heard that they.
I haven't heard anything.
They probably will.
Yes.
This is kind of a three-part question. It kind of showed up late, so you may have already answered it. One, when is the actual building start? For one. When does it actually start building?
Okay, we're going to start grading in May, June of next year.
Okay.
We're going to start going vertical in about November, and we're going to start the first openings of the shopping center and what have you later in 17, going into 18. We should be we'll be pretty complete by mid-18 with all of the retail and commercial.
Then the housing, is that going to be a gated community?
Yes.
Okay. So then what about security? Since we're going to get more people up here, more people going to the shopping center and everything else, we have already kind of started to have certain issues with security and certain problems. That's going to be more people. Do you guys already have that kind of situated in terms of the contract security, or?
We'll definitely have security.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Tom?
One more question. I think one of our biggest, for me at least, one of our biggest concerns is that we don't have any way to actually get down there and use the services without getting into our car, because we don't have a sidewalk to get there, which is a big problem, because I think it would help greatly for that center to be a success if every neighbor that lived here could actually just walk down there and go to the cafes or the restaurants or whatnot. We don't currently have any way to do that. Would it be feasible for you guys to explore the option of at least adding a walkway that connects our community to your project? Currently it's just a few meters that we're missing, but we have to walk literally in the street to get there.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. You know, my first thought is, I can't promise anything that's not my control.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Having said that, you know, maybe there's a play to do something, you know, where you do you actually don't build a sidewalk, you do a path.
Sure.
Okay, that's all weather.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, made of, I'm losing the word, but.
DG or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe we could, you know, get the city and us to see if that could be done.
Right.
And we could pay into that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea, actually. Because I don't know when that's going to ever.
Yeah, I think my concern is if we wait until the city decides to actually widen the street to get a sidewalk, that's not going to happen for maybe a decade. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
So if we at least had it doesn't even have to be paved, as long as it's just so that we're not literally walking in the lanes of traffic.
Right.
We could actually access that center, you know, on a daily basis. Go have lunch, go have coffee, whatever.
I like that.
Otherwise, you guys are missing out on a tremendous amount of business for people that just don't want to get in their car and drive there, and in parking as well. You know.
By the way, I will need to get contact information.
Oh,
I'll talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Some inquiries into that.
Yes.
I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the 500 and some odd homes and apartments and stuff, what are you going to do about schools? Are you going to help fund another school?
School fees. Okay. You ready?
Putting a Melrose in there?
No. No Melrose.
Okay, so this community is going to tie up our school district?
No.
Because we're already overcrowded.
We're paying, I think the numbers change, but we'll be paying, and it's all depends on the size of the house, okay, but you pay school fees when you pull a building permit, okay, generally speaking. Sometimes they allow you to go to when you sell the home, okay, but at least by the time it's sold, you're paying in the neighborhood of $15,000, $12 to $15,000 per dwelling unit to Hart and Sulphur, middle school, and the high school. Okay, for them to build new schools and what have you, and that's what you do, and that's how you pay your way. Yes.
When do you find out which restaurants are going in there?
We're talking now to a bunch. We've kind of got our kind of what we want to see. It's not all of one kind.
What are you looking at?
That's what we want still.
I mean, what is your wish list?
Yeah, tell us that.
Can
It's
we?
important.
We want a deli.
How about a deli?
We still want a deli.
They want a deli. That could go easily. Okay. The how do I say this? Like one example would be the quality, or at least the ambiance, a little bit of a Salt Creek. Okay. If you go to all around Southern California and just think about some of the restaurants around, the California Pizza Kitchens of the world, the P.F. Chang's, the really good Mexican restaurant. Okay, so you want the fish, you want the steaks, you want the Mexican, you want the P.F. Chang. I mean, that sort of thing, so that there's a variety, and they're all going to have their differences. But we're providing in our budget, we're providing tenant improvements to help fund these things.
McDonald's.
So we're not just going to build a little retail spot, and plus the building itself is going to have some real theme to it. Yeah.
Stop. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish with your word.
No, that was kind of. Did I kind of answer it?
I like that wish list.
Which one?
I like that wish list. That worked.
So I'm wondering, kind of on the back of that comment, is there opportunity for us to maybe email you with a wish list or suggestions of restaurants,
absolutely.
so that if there is enough of a request for, let's say, 30, 40, 50% of people here want, for example, a Cheesecake Factory, if you could convey that to certain restaurants so that they already see a built-in interest, maybe it will spur them into wanting to rent, if there's already a built-in fan base, so to speak.
No, that makes sense. Look, we want to build what you guys want, ultimately, right?
So if there's
build a restaurant and everybody goes, I'm not going there.
Right. Yeah. So if there's some sort of contact info where we can send you that, and we can amass a list and take a tally of what we want, and then maybe that'll help convince them to come.
To make that easy.
Yeah.
I have your contact info.
Yeah,
if you're okay
I
with
do
it.
too.
Royal Clark Devco at AOL.com, me, and my phone number, 310-968-0125.
We can put it up.
Send it out. Yes.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, these restaurants and everything, we're talking chains. Yes?
Well,
No?
yeah, I mean, it really depends. If there's, it doesn't have to be a chain. It just has to be someone that is fully capable of running a really nice restaurant.
Okay, so here's, and this is just me. My dream is to start a New Orleans jazz little lounge just at night, entertainment, Is that something that would fit into your...
Could. I mean, I think we'd need to talk early to try to see where we could, and how big does this need to be, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so check in. Okay. Yes.
When you were drilling up Oaks and Stetson Ranch, you said that was for a different project. When you were drilling Oaks and Stetson Ranch, doing the environmental studies, you had said that was for a different project.
There is another project that's Rogers owned this property right here. It's about 12, maybe 15 acres, I think. And they're talking about, I think, 25 or 30 single-family homes. So they would be widening Sand Canyon and as a condition to those homes.
Okay, so
And
that
that has nothing to do with me.
So that was Jay drilling up there?
I'm not sure where you're drilling, where it is. So you got to show me physically
well,
where.
Right up at the top, below those two houses that are down at the bottom of that canyon. Was that Jay drilling up at the top?
Could have been.
Wow.
Could have been. If it's right there where those, if it's right there by those houses, yes. Because Jay owns those houses.
And they enter through the house. Jay owns those two houses?
He owns one of them for sure, because he's renting it.
Really?
Yes, no doubt. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I have to leave at 7:30. Do you mind if I just took a picture of your map?
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Here's a.
Just a little something to show the husband. Know where I'm at. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and the city has all of these renderings on their website as well. So if you guys go to the city website, they're on there.
So all this looks good, and according to what I understand, this is going to start running in about a year. But have you secured all the funding to start all this, or?
Yes.
You have?
Yes. Yes.
But the funding does not include the improving the Sand Canyon Road.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
Till our part.
No. Well, you weren't here earlier. We own approximately 2/3 of the way up to here.
But we're not going to have sidewalks going down.
We just talked about that earlier. That we're not conditioned to do that. We're conditioned to widen Sand Canyon, 4 lanes, center divider, sidewalk, paseo, bike path. Okay. Ultimately, it'll all get widened. Okay.
But with no sidewalk.
Not by me.
Oh,
okay. I'm conditioned to do what's in front of my property, and then everybody that owns the property is conditioned to do theirs when they develop, if they ever do. But we were talking about maybe doing some sort of more of a temporary path from Stetson down to where I start, and see whether or not we could maybe put something like that together. And that was raised a little earlier.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and we're available to answer any other questions anytime.
And I'll send his contact info out.
Thank you.